Oh, that's okay.
Do we need to? Are you guys all
Can you
mic'd
hear?
up to her, or do you guys?
I
Do you want
feel
this?
like.
I'm mic'd up.
Oh,
I think
can you hear
everyone
me
else is
okay?
Yeah. I think we're
So
good.
can the non? Okay.
I can still use it. I can.
I think it at the end of the day, it's going to sound a little bit muddled if you use that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, as long as we don't have any equipment running, we should be okay. So again, good morning. My name is Bridget Bensbacher. I'm the Executive Director of the Cactus League Baseball Association, and I want to welcome you to the Peoria Sports Complex. And before we get started, I want to thank Chris Calcaterra, our past president of the Cactus League Association, and his sports complex team for welcoming us here today. I also want to recognize our partners for their ongoing support. We have some fantastic partners, just to name a few: the Arizona Sports and Tourism Authority, the Arizona Office of Tourism, Phoenix Raceway, City of Flagstaff, Verizon, some of our partners that help us raise the money we need to continue to get this a very important message out there. I also want to thank our 8 municipalities, the tribal community that annually host spring training for 15 Major League Baseball clubs. This morning I'm excited to announce that Cactus League attendance rose for the 4th straight season in 2025. Baseball fans flocked to Maricopa County's 10 spring training facilities, and the gains came despite some challenges that were beyond our control, which I'll get to that in just a second. The Cactus League drew a total of 1.695 fans to 224 games. That's an increase of over 65,000 fans for the season from the previous season in 2024. The Cactus League averaged 7,569 fans per game, which was an increase of 21 per game over 2024. We averaged 49,867 fans per day. That's nearly 50,000 fans per day for more than a month. So that number, I believe, captures the true strength and resilience of the spring training industry and just shows how much people love it. Attendance grew for 9 of the 15 Cactus League clubs in 2025. And here, right here at Peoria Sports Complex, the San Diego Padres saw the largest attendance increase of 835 fans per game. That was over 14% for the season. So we can talk a little bit about what the challenges were going into the season and throughout the season. This doesn't just happen. We talk about that every year. We really have to work at it. Our facilities, the teams in our facilities. When I say teams, I mean the ops teams and all of the folks that are welcoming fans and creating this amazing experience at our facilities. They work really hard to create a great opportunity and experience for our fans. We lost 2 of our top 3 draws this past season. So the Chicago Cubs and the Los Angeles Dodgers actually started in mid-March the Tokyo series in Japan. The Cubs returned for 5 games at the end of the season, but the Dodgers were gone come March 11th. So, and again, those are our with 2 of our top 3 draws for the season were gone, and still we were able to increase our attendance from the season prior. So again, that just speaks volumes. Another challenge was wet weather. And again, something totally out of our control. We know it's likely going to happen every season, though there's been seasons when it hasn't. We did have 6 games rained out, and we can't make those games up. So when those games are rained out, they're lost and we're not able to make them up. A major storm threatened us on March 13th. I'm sure you remember that. And I have to tip my cap to the facilities that were watching this minute by minute and made the adjustment to start their games an hour early, and we were able to get all of those games in for those day games, which was pretty remarkable. And again, that just goes to show what happens behind the scenes to make sure that we make the most of this opportunity. And I know I've thrown out a lot of numbers. It's really exciting, but the numbers don't lie. What they say is that the Cactus League is truly a mega event. It happens year after year. It lasts a month and it touches every corner of the valley and also impacts all throughout Arizona. We know that 6 out of 10 Cactus League fans come from out of state. So attendance is truly a reliable barometer of spring training strength as an Arizona tourism driver. There's nothing quite like spring training game in one of our facilities. Our unique ballparks, they're all different to one another, and we work really hard. We want to thank all of our visitors and our residents who turned out in droves this spring. We look forward to welcoming them back next year for baseball in the desert in this beautiful sunshine. And with that, I will be happy to take any of your questions.
Do questions or one-on-one with anyone, and we also have Veronica with Arizona Office of Tourism.
Welcome,
available to
Veronica.
speak to the tourism angle if anyone wants to discuss that.
And finally, we have the general manager of Peoria Sports Complex if you wanted someone from a facility standpoint to talk about attendance. Fire away.
I've got a question.
Sure.
Given the swirling status of tariffs and trade wars and all that, and Canadian visitors to Arizona, did you all see any kind of decline in that segment of the crowds who you might have expected for this season?
You know, we haven't looked at it broken down quite to that point. What I can tell you is that attendance is up, and so that we know coming into the season, the last several seasons post-pandemic, with all the challenges that we've had, the industry is resilient. People love spring training. They continue to come back, and what our job is to focus on just making it welcoming for everyone and creating a safe environment to make memories and create a great experience surrounding spring training.
Are you going to follow?
Yeah,
Oh.
The Diamondbacks are obviously at the legislature trying to get stadium funding matters resolved. What is the status of the Cactus League's facilities, the long-term financial health of the facilities, and the Cactus League's ability to continue on the trajectory you've been on?
So that is a loaded question. Maybe another, event just like this to talk about that topic down the road. Again, we represent 10 facilities, 8 municipalities in the tribal community. It is a huge industry. It's become a huge industry all its own. Our hometown team, the Diamondbacks, we absolutely support the Diamondbacks. And we are just hopeful that they're able to, come to terms. We want to keep them in Arizona. We want to keep all of our teams, our spring training teams in Arizona. This doesn't just happen. I think I said that before. This is something that we have to work at all the time. And events like this and outreach and education so that people understand what these facilities mean to our state's economy, to tourism, to the local businesses. It's really important that we continue to share that message so that people understand the return on their investment. There is a huge return on the investment of spring training, and certainly the D-backs have a strong case that they're making now.
You guys didn't do an economic impact study this year, right?
We did not, no. We're looking to, 2026 to do an economic impact study, though we will take the attendance and look at, how that impacts the current season or the 2025 season as well. We're always analyzing those numbers, always. Yes.
Hi, so you mentioned how 6 out of 10 of the attendants at spring training are from out of state. So I was just curious, how do you find the balance between attracting the tourists that come from outside of Arizona, but also keeping local fans engaged with coming to games?
That's a fantastic question. A handful of years ago, the season has shifted. It's another one of our challenges, really. It starts earlier, so people aren't really expecting, especially our locals, aren't expecting spring training to start until the first weekend in March. And this season for 2025, we started February 20th. So we have a big job to target Arizona fans and make sure that they know we have an early start, that they have the best opportunity to get the best pricing and best seats, early on in the season. And so we work really hard to do that with some different partnerships that we have. One in particular with the Arizona Board of Regents and the FAFSA campaign to target and support Arizona high school seniors and their families. That's just one example of what we do. Spring breaks are happening all across the country. Some of them in our major league markets now happen after the end of the season. So, you know, we know people are going to flock to the Valley. They do it all the time. But again, we continue to share all the awesome things that there are to do in Arizona, from Tombstone to Flagstaff. We know that those folks are here. They're coming for spring training, but they're seeing multiple games. They're staying 4 nights on average, and they are no doubt experiencing all the different awesome activities there are to experience here in Arizona.
You mentioned the Dodgers and the Cubs not being here. Is that something you guys can talk to Major League Baseball and be like, take the teams from Florida? Like, what can you do to make sure you have your best teams here during the year? Or is that just kind of, it just happens?
It just happens, and it's hard to say what it's going to look like year over year. We know that, you know, international baseball is definitely top of conversation. The end of the day, we just need to focus on what we can control and provide the best possible experience for our fans. And again, it's, you know, we know there's going to be some challenge or another. I mean, the rain's out of our control, but we're going to just keep plowing forward and making sure that people want to keep coming back to Arizona in spring training.
Any other
She can
questions?
talk offline people too.
Should I leave these on for individuals or?